So we made it through the diatribe. Let's talk about this Marvel and Hasbro team up because it's actually like was not obvious to me that this was going to happen in Magic the Gathering. It's actually a little surprising, even though, yeah, sure, they've like, I think they've worked together before, but just like the fact that Marvel is owned by Disney and Disney has Lorcana made me think that like maybe they didn't want to be supporting a rival card game like that. Or does Lorcana just not think of Magic the Gathering as one of its rivals?
So I wanted to talk about this because this has something to do with what I'm not sure if everyone knows this. It's called co-branding. And I've worked on a lot of co-branding projects. You all know what co-branding is, even if you didn't know the term, but now you do. Co-branding is basically two big brands, or more, usually two, get together and take, your peanut butter and your chocolate and let's put it together and make something. And
Right.
you see it all the time. There's a lot of this co-branding going on. And probably the most popular co-branding that you can think of in gaming is with Monopoly. Because think about how many Monopoly sets are there that are co-branded with anything. I mean, if you look, there's a Monopoly set for every cartoon, board game, everything. You name it. Movie, franchise, you name it. There is a Monopoly set, and that's a co-brand. You take the brand of Harry Potter, and then you take the brand of Monopoly and you put them together and you have a baby. Lego just did a co-brand with Dune. They just announced yesterday that new Dune set. That's a co-brand. So these are very, very common. Now, the thing is that they are often done in different segments. And these companies are so big that they usually don't even know what some of the other, divisions are doing. And the Hasbro team that worked with Marvel and Magic the Gathering, to them it's a win because, yes, they're doing Lorcana, but here they're going to be able to get money off Lorcana and they'll be able to get money off Magic. They're actually going to make money off their competition because that's something else to co-branding is usually, depending on how you do it, it's either profits are split but then costs are split too, by the way. So profits are split and costs are split, or there's a licensing fee and a licensing deal. This sounds like this is such a big multi-year deal, multi-set deal, that this is going to be like a true co-brand collaboration effort where both teams will work very closely together to protect their brands.
Because a lot of the times that they've done these crossovers, it's just kind of gone in once for a few cards or a set, and then that was it. But this looks like a bigger deal, at least based on the reporting I've seen.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a really big deal. Like, at first, I was like, oh, let me think about this if it's a good topic. This is like look it up. Like, it's kind of getting stealth out there. Like, it's not like getting as much traction as I thought, but it's everywhere. I mean, it was announced everywhere. This is a big deal. Now, they've done, they doing the Doctor Who set, they did the Lord of the Rings sets. Those were big, but this is a multi-year, multi-set brand deal where they're going to do a story-based arc throughout the Marvel cards using the characters. So this is going to be something, they're going to try to make this into basically an MCU in the Magic universe. They're going to make it that this has characters that will follow. And if you're not familiar with how Magic works, is Magic does come out with these sets. And these sets do have a story behind them. There actually is a story that you can follow if you're looking at the cards and you're following the set. And they're actually a lot of fun. Like, there's a lot of that, you got to read about it and like really follow the social media and like follow the websites. But there actually is an actual story behind each set. I think they're going to really, you're going to see co-branding on both sides. I guarantee Marvel might put out small animations or put out something on their side on Disney Plus to, help bring in the brand of the Magic cards. They're going to probably maybe come out with comics. They're going to do something on their end so it's all tied together. So with that being said, it's that Magic and Marvel, this is the next step. Like, they started doing this with Doctor Who and Lord of the Rings. I felt like those were mostly one-offs. I felt like those were like, here's a cool set. Here's Lord of the Rings in the world of magic. It's really cool. Here's the set, and that's awesome. This is like, no, this is the set that we're doing for years. That we're going to tell a story, and then you want to get invested and follow this. This is a whole other level. And I was thinking about this because in the world of co-branding and consumer products, this is kind of the late stage of a product. And what I mean by that is when you kind of start, I won't say running out of ideas, but when the product's gotten so big and they're running out of places to grow, like Magic has gotten as big as, I don't think it's as big as it'll ever be, but it's gotten really big. But they keep selling to the same people over and over and over.
So you mean
again.
less that they don't have any innovative ideas, but more that they are trying to reach a new market.
Yes.
And even if they have tons of great ideas that the same people would want,
yes,
it doesn't matter as much as if they can tap an untapped market who'd never seen it before, but would just collect Marvel collectible cards, even if there wasn't a game attached to it. And hey, now that they have them, maybe they'll play this game, and then maybe they'll buy other sets, and then they will have activated more people. Is that the idea?
Yes, the idea is that you need to break into markets that you normally can't get into easily. And Hasbro for Magic, suddenly there's a lot of people who like Marvel. Yes, the MCU has issues. Yes, Disney has issues. There's a lot going on. It's basically, I mean, I could do another whole channel on that if I wanted to. There's a lot going on in Marvel and Disney right now, and none of it is good. But I guarantee the characters will prevail, and the characters are still loved by the fans. And this is a fresh take. So you have people who love Marvel who maybe wanted to get into Magic or was interested in Magic. And now this is an excuse to get into Magic. And now you're opening it up to a new market. The people in Marvel, to them, it's like, they're in the catbird seat because they're like, all right, well, this is great. We just make money off of this. You're doing most of the work. It's your product. So we just make money, and we just have to watch it to make sure, they'll collaborate with them and make sure everything is kosher. But otherwise, they just sort of make money, and it helps them. This is, it almost benefits, I'd say, Magic more than Marvel.
I would think, because, Marvel can just do things if they want themselves, whereas Magic is getting Marvel fans to activate for Magic, whereas arguably this is not getting Magic fans more into Marvel, or it's very unlikely that that's going to happen in nearly as big of numbers.
Yeah. So what I meant by late stage is that I'll give you, and there's also another reason you do that, is that there's less risk. So I'm really big into Broadway shows. The problem with Broadway shows right now is that they're very expensive, and I mean really expensive, and most Broadway shows lose money. And there's all these Broadway shows now. Well, they just came out with the Back to the Future Broadway show. Really? Back to the Future? The Broadway show? They had, they have the Harry Potter Broadway show. They have a lot of shows that are based off of existing IPs. And I actually saw some of them, and I'm like, wow, I literally just watched the movie, and now I saw it as a Broadway show. It was the exact same story. The only one that actually was pretty good, I've seen a couple of them, and most of them are, to me, it's like I'm literally just watch the movie. Groundhog Day as a Broadway show, which, by the way, totally failed, was really good. Actually, even though I've seen the movie 100 times, it actually was a very, very good Broadway show. But that's something that they do because they think, okay, you have a built-in audience.
Right.
And you will get a certain percentage of people automatic.
And those people can spread it word of mouth if it's good.
Right. So that's when you see this. You see,
I mean,
that,
it kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like, like the topic of Alexander Hamilton, if it wasn't based off like a book and had other famous built-in audience, maybe people it would have caught on at the beginning, but then word of mouth spread and Hamilton became like a ridiculously popular show. But it had built-in things to help it pick off at the beginning.
That had a lot of things going for it. Plus, that's based off a book. I mean,
that's what I said.
Yeah.
I said the book.
Yeah, that's based off the book
about
that's
the history of Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's not an original story because it's literally his life.
Well, obviously, it's a biography.
Yeah,
but
it's a biography.
Yeah, that's why I said the book. I didn't say just the person.
Right.
But it had multiple hooks going into it that would help it. And it makes sense because if you have no hook, then you might be lost amid a sea of other options. There's a lot of options out for people nowadays, just in everything.
No, in everything. So that's why you need to get as many hooks as possible to get people into, that's the hardest part, is getting people just to show up. And, it's like, oh, you got Marvel and you got Hasbro. You have something there. And then I started to think about that. And this actually came from yesterday because... remember, people asked us if we were going to do our own RPG, and I looked and I said, hey, look, I got Star Trek right here. I got my Star Trek, and guess what? I got Dune. I have my own. I'm like, wait, they got me. They got me. And I'm going to tell you a secret, okay? Okay? The secret of co-branding.
I'll take it. What's the secret?
I've said this before, so Mark, you know the secret.
Oh, okay. Well, I know the secret. Whatever.
Here's the secret. The secret of co-branding is that most people will buy something that they like and never use it.
Oh, like Monopoly. You have said it before. Yes. You're right.
And that is another secret of co-branding. And a good example of this, and everyone who's watching, I want you to raise your hand. I might even do a vote on this. How many out there... I'm going to do a vote because I think this is worth trying. Start a poll. It's like, have you bought a DVD or some property that you loved and never watched the DVD? So this was a thing. I had a friend of mine who had, I swear to God, he must have had 2,000 DVDs. I mean, his whole wall, this is a while ago, or this is like 20 years ago, because now no one has DVDs, but it's like his entire wall was covered with DVDs, and none of them are open. And I'm like, why do you have all these DVDs? And he just bought them because he liked them. But the reason why people do that is because they want to feel closer to the property they love, and they want to feel connected to it. And so people will often buy, like if I really, really love Lord of the Rings, you might buy the expanded set of Lord of the Rings and just put it on your shelf and then never watch it. But if you look at it, it makes you feel good. And people do that already with the statues, those statues that people buy in the comic book shops. I'm looking at mine because I got a ton of them myself. It's like, what is it? What purpose do any of them serve? And the answer is nothing, But that's what art is. Art is nothing more than giving you a connection to something. Here, I'm going to show you something that I have while I'm talking.
Let's see it.
It's my Lord of the Rings bookcase, bookends. And it's like,
in the hole in the ground there lived a bookshelf.
Yeah, but it's like, why would you buy this? Do I really use it? Not really, but it looks cool and I like it, and and I love Lord of the Rings, so it connects me to it.
If you had a shelf that didn't look like that, maybe you would use it.
Yes, but the point is, I actually do use it. I use it to hold up one of my pictures.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, but. And yeah, people are saying they own a lot of books they've never read. And there's a lot of people. So it looks like a lot of people have watched it. Okay, I'll give you that. But at least we're up to about 45% people here who bought something. In this case, I said DVD. But the point is, how many things have you purchased just to have it? And you know why I bought these Star Trek books? Because I love Star Trek. Am I probably ever going to play this? Probably never. Am I going to even read all these books? Probably not. But I like having it here. Oh, and that's co-branding, baby. That's the magic of co-branding and making money. They don't care if you ever play this game. All they want you to do is buy it. And it works. Co-branding works, I tell you. If it didn't, you wouldn't see it so frequently. So I'll close the poll. It's about 47% said yes. So about 50, a little less than 50-50, but
Little less than
that's
half.
still 50. Think about that. 50% of the people are buying something that they never use just because they like the brand. That's pretty powerful if you think about like how
I
many
think
things...
some of them might have thought they were going to watch it, and then they just never got around to
But how
it.
many things do you buy in your life that you never use?
Okay, so I have definitely bought more games than I can play.
Oh yeah.
And I bought the number of games I bought that I could never play is high, whereas the number of DVDs I bought that I've never used is like 1. So it's way
Fair.
lower.
Okay, fine.
It's way lower than the number of games I've never played, and I almost never do. But I did once, and I did vote yes in your poll because one time I bought a DVD that I didn't use.
Oh, I've bought DVDs I didn't use just because, again, well, I'm also one of those people. I have every brand of the Lord of the Rings DVD ever. Like they had so many versions that I bought them all just to have them. And that's something else. You're like, oh,
That's very fair. That's like a different thing on the poll as opposed to like, did you buy it knowing you weren't going to use it, or did you buy it thinking you were? That was something useful,
right.
And then you found out that you didn't watch it like a few decades later.
But think about how many people buy things knowing they won't just because it makes them feel good. You know, just because it makes them happy.
That's an okay reason to buy things.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
ultimately, feeling good is like an important thing for people's mental health.
Right. I mean, think everyone's talking about things now they're did like, oh, I bought minis and I never painted them. I bought books I know I'm never going to read. I bought PDFs I know I'm never going to look at. I bought video games I know I'm never going to play. It's like a lot of people just buy these because they're fans of the property and they just want to have it. So that brings me back to the Marvel and Hasbro deal, is that this is a really good deal for both companies because a lot of people will buy it, especially if there's like, let's just say you love Spider-Man. There's a lot, trust me, there's a lot of people who love Spider-Man. You get they're going to have 10 versions of the Spider-Man card in Magic, and people are going to buy it. They're going to frame it. They're going to put it on a wall.
You get all the different Spider-Verse Spider-Man and all of the different incarnations of Spider-Man for sure.
Yeah. And in fact, I just heard a podcast. I forgot I think it was like 99% Invisible, I think it did this, of the history of stamps. And they had, for the first time ever, so the rule was for stamp collecting and when they made stamps, they were always topics like fish or monuments or scenery. And then they decided that they were going to do a stamp in the 90s of Elvis. All right, now this is a big deal. Just follow me for a second. And they had a nationwide vote of, are people going to buy the young Elvis or the old Elvis, which people called the fat Elvis, because Elvis was fat when he died and got kind of old and decrepit, and when he was young he was thin and, you know, spry. So there was a huge debate, and people don't remember this, but I mean, I don't know how old people are in this, but when Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall and played the saxophone, the first question he was asked is, are you for the thin Elvis or the fat Elvis? Like this was a big deal. Like people are talking about this everywhere in America. And the thin Elvis won it was a landslide, by the way. But that was the first time ever that they put pop culture references on a stamp. And they estimated that it was billions of dollars of Elvis stamps were bought and never used. That is pure profit for the post office. And after that, well, the rest is history, as they say. Think about how many people buy stamps. I myself have Snoopy stamps. I have Marvel. Ironically, I have Spider-Man stamps. I have a framed Spider-Man stamp sheet with like a picture of a comic book. It's framed and hanging up in one of my rooms. I have baseball stamps. I have tons of variations of stamps. And the whole reason they did this is to generate income for the post office because, again, once you buy it, and then if you don't use it, that's pure profit. That's 100% profit for the post office. So, again, that's co-branding, and actually they even said it got a little out of hand because now everything wants a stamp and everybody wants a stamp. And then other countries started to copy it, and now other countries do it too, and it's all over the place. But until then, pop culture wasn't on stamps, and now that's like all it is. It's only pop culture. So
it makes sense. I mean, if it's popular, though, right?
Mm-hmm.